Hi, I'm Mateo Pineda, and I'm a sophomore.
Hi, I'm Eliza Noblejas. I'm a junior.
I'm Ty Castle Indian. I'm a junior.
I'm Eiffel Sunga. I'm a senior.
I'm Lana Garcia. I'm also a senior.
School gives the proper resources to make it through life after learning.
Okay, I'm the only one here, but I think the first example that came in my head was probably AP Gov. We learned a lot about like government and politics and how like the political system works. And at least for me, I want to go into like some government position and I want to do law. And I think our teachers, at least in my English classes in the past years, they've also talked about certain like societal issues that I think inform me well enough to form an opinion on things, and I guess going into the future that would be helpful so I don't sound like uneducated when I'm having conversations about those things.
I'll start. So I think it kind of depends on how you define success, but for me, success doesn't stop at like a minimum wage job. And as far as that goes, I think that school does a good job educating you on the basics, but it doesn't cover a lot of the social skills or the communication that you need to be able to actually succeed in life as a whole.
Yeah, I'd agree with a lot of what Ty just said. I think a lot of what it comes down to is just there's a lot of specific skills that are important that I feel that, at least up until this point, I really haven't been seeing in school, and a lot of that is there's a lot of interpersonal communication skills that, like, while yes, we do touch on that a little bit, I feel like there are a lot of things about like just going to like jobs in the workplace and everything that I still feel like I've been left kind of in the dark about by school.
Yeah, to like echo off on that, I think we have a lot of good programs here, like the IB program and like other like AP classes, but like I know like for my friends and stuff, like there's other schools that have like a lot of more college preparatory classes that people need, and like they don't get the resources we have here, so it just depends. Yeah.
I would definitely agree. I was going to say something like that how it depends on what kind of school you go to, because some are desperately like underfunded. And I think in order to be successful in life, you need to have a good footing, you need to have good connections. For example, if you need to take like standard exams like the SAT, they cost money. They cost money to prep for if you're going to into a prep class. So I think in terms of success in the world today, where you want to get into a good college, you're fighting against a lot of people, it's really difficult to get those kind of resources if your school doesn't supply them with you.
I think if we want to bring it back and be more specific to BVH, we actually do a great job at preparing kids for college, if that's the future that you're talking about, because we take pride in being the only school that has an IB diploma program. Like, I don't think there's very many like challenging programs like that that can really prepare students, and I've heard people who are now in college and who took the IB program, and they say that college is just like high school and they don't feel as overwhelmed. But then when it comes to like the communication skills that you talk about that you need in high school, like we have the speech and debate program, or we have like the mock trial program, and those are all things that like help you build like the communication skills that you need. I don't think school necessarily needs to be specifically preparing you for a certain job. School, because everybody is gonna go into a different like career, school just gives you like the basic things that you would need, like communication skills or like the ability to like form your own opinions, that you would need to succeed in the future.
Mm-hmm. I think that on that topic, something that a lot of schools do is that a lot of the times they'll have resources that students can use, but a lot of the times it's difficult for those students to access those resources. Like, I know for me personally, I was planning on challenging the AP Spanish test at the end of the year, and both my mom and I had to constantly work with school administration to actually figure out how I was to be able to do that, and we had to keep going back to them and ask, hey, how do we sign up for this? And even though it's something we can do, it was really difficult to actually be able to figure out how we would be able to, and I think that's part of something that schools do, where resources can be difficult to find and access for a lot of students.
If I have an issue or if I'm going through something, I feel like I can speak to an adult on campus.
Hi, Liza.
Hi, Alana.
I would say I agree with this. I wouldn't have said I agreed maybe a year ago, but a couple months ago when my grandma passed away, I was kind of struggling really bad in school. And so I ended up talking to one of the school's sociologists or therapists for like a couple days, and he really helped me like come to terms with it, because personally I've never gone to therapy before. I've wanted to, but I don't know if my parents would like it. So I think that having an on-site school like sociologist or therapist really helps me deal with my problems in a manner that I don't have to go through my parents to get through it. I can just go myself to that building. And he really did help me like come to terms with my feelings.
I have like certain like teachers that I can talk to. Like I know like I have a lot of problems with like school and stuff, so like I do go to the academic stress group as well to like talk about those problems. But I think the teachers are really understanding here, and they know what it feels like to be stressed. So yeah, I would say there's individuals here that care for you and want you to succeed in life.
I think that for me, one of my biggest struggles with talking to adults, specifically on campus, is the fact that I think almost every adult here is a mandated reporter, and that's really what's gotten in the way of me like reaching out to adults on campus, because like I've had experiences before where I've had to talk to the counselor because someone had told them that I was experiencing like a rough time with my mental health. And even after the conversation, even I had a conversation with my counselor, and it was a really great conversation. But then after that, she still had to reach out to my parents. And even despite what we had talked about, the way that my parents were contacted really freaked them out. So that created a whole bunch of issues at home. And I think that's something that's really stuck with me, because I thought that the conversation that I had with my counselor really communicated what I was going through well, but apparently that didn't translate to when my parents were told, because they essentially had heard a completely different story than from what I told my counselor.
I think when this question was posed, the first thought that came to my mind was like teachers that I'd form a bond with, rather than like school professionals who are here to deal with students' like mental issues. But while there's teachers that I'm very close with, I'm not the type of person to share any of my like problems with anybody, like not even my closest friends. So I guess regardless of if this question was asked in a school setting or like in any setting, I think my answer would still be like no.
Yeah, no, and I agree very much with you, Eiffel. I think that as much as I'd be willing to like ask Mr. Rivera out to Hoko, for example, I was raised very much in that like traditional, male, like don't share your feelings type of household. And I think that school doesn't really break those stigmas at all. I think it's just like any other place where, yeah, I wouldn't really be prone to sharing my problems with any teacher or school professional.
I have a voice in the school.
I was definitely expecting this.
Yeah, I was expecting a different result here. I think one of the biggest reasons that I think a lot of us would say yes to this is the fact that we're all in the speech and debate program. And I think through there, even beyond like just going to tournaments in general, our advisor has definitely given all of us a lot of different opportunities and ways that we can like speak to like the wider community that we live in. And I think that really has given, I think, all of us a feeling that we really do have a voice and a say in what goes on.
One of the main ways we advertise Speech and Debate is we tell you it's the only platform on campus where you have the opportunity to talk about whatever you want, whenever you want, and to people who will actually care and listen to you. And I think Speech and Debate absolutely offers that. I think everyone in Speech and Debate is so diverse, and they have a lot of different opinions, and we respect and we listen to each other. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why Speech and Debate gives you a voice on this campus. But even without speech and debate, I think that you can definitely have a voice on this campus if you just join any like extracurriculars. I know last year I organized a reproductive rights walkout, and we were able to share our own opinions about what was going on with Roe v. Wade and the Senate bill in Texas. And I think that the school is very open to a lot of different ideas, and I think that you can definitely have a voice on this campus.
I'm on the school newspaper, and that's like the place to get your voice heard, if not anywhere else. That's how I express myself, right? And that's how I make my voice heard. But there's also like other opportunities, like for homecoming, for example, like they would send out polls on Jupiter, or like Lana was saying, there's a lot of people on campus organizing like protests, or like Miss Eckstein is always encouraging us to like go to some climate rallies. I think we have so many opportunities to speak our minds at BVH. It's just about whether or not a student is willing to take advantage of those opportunities rather than like sit and complain about the things that they don't have.
Yeah, no, I would agree with everything that's been said already. I think that the school gives us a great opportunity to get our voices out, even if like we aren't itching to say something. I mean, we're on the BVTV right now, right?
Yeah.
I think there are plenty of outlets that people can go to be heard, especially if they have an itching complaint. And I know that our principal and our assistant principals are always ready to hear us if we do have a complaint, because like for the Mr. Good assignment, we went and interviewed them, and they were totally open to an interview from me, who's like a nobody, you know?
They also always encourage like P3 tips, like the AP assignment, like that's another like opportunity.
I'm Ty Mark Castle-Ingen, junior. Thanks for having me.
I'm Mateo Pineda, a sophomore, and this was a really cool experience. Thank you.
I'm Eliza Noblejas. I'm a junior. Thanks for having me.
I'm Lana Garcia. I'm a senior. Bye.
I'm Eiffel Sunga. I'm a senior, and thank you to BVTV for organizing this.